Welcome back. Some zoning changes over in Athens could potentially allow for some new developments, and it all has to do with keeping up with the times. The Athens Planning Commission hoping the changes will bring new tech investments to the city and county. It's all about new data centers, massive facilities to store, process, and manage large amounts of internet data. And they're often used for artificial intelligence. Fox 54's Kip Aguayo shows us what the changes could mean for residents in Limestone County.
A new data center could eventually make its way to the city of Athens after the Planning Commission voted to amend the zoning ordinance for its heavy industrial district along Wilkinson Street earlier this month. The city's Planning Commission recommended the proposal on March 17th and immediately invited the public to bring their comments and concerns directly to the City Council. If approved, the change would allow for a data center on the same street as many of the city's manufacturing plants. While this does not guarantee a data center will open in Athens, the ordinance invites companies to look in Athens for a potential new development. City Planner Aaron Tidwell explains to Fox 54, the City of Athens has not received a request related to a data center. The City of Athens saw a growing trend that communities across the U.S. are dealing with regarding proposed data centers. Adding, to be proactive, the City of Athens is seeking to amend its zoning ordinance to address data centers. Many other cities are doing the same. But there's some cause for concern. A lot of the national conversations on data centers focus on heavy ecological impacts for the surrounding areas. The American Association for the Advancement of Science says in other parts of the country, some of those concerns have included reports of high water usage, pollution and gas emissions, and a massive strain on energy consumption.
They provide many jobs and help out our community, but they also have a great ecological impact on our community as well. Massive energy usage, massive potential for water usage, contaminated water, gases that are being emitted into the air that cause a lot of problems. You have a lot of toxic e-waste that builds up and needs to have an outlet, a recyclable outlet.
On the other hand, a massive new facility for technology could bring money, infrastructure, jobs, and even more development to one of the fastest growing areas in the state. The proposal will go before the City Council on April 27th, where they'll talk about the zoning ordinance change and weigh the pros and cons of this development. In Athens, I'm Caleb Aguayo, Fox 54 News.
Now, there are no current plans for a data center inside Athens city limits, but the ordinance's update should match other cities in North Alabama, inviting businesses to invest.
Based on the evidence gathered to date, we assess this attack to be a Hezbollah-inspired act of terrorism, purposely targeting the Jewish community.
The FBI on Monday confirming what had been widely suspected, that the attack on the largest Jewish temple in Michigan earlier this month was an act of terrorism. It happened on March 12th when the assailant rammed a pickup truck into the synagogue as more than 100 children were attending school inside. He hit a security officer before the vehicle got wedged in a hallway. There was an exchange of gunfire with synagogue security officers before the attacker shot and killed himself. The truck caught fire and caused extensive damage to the building. According to the FBI, the vehicle was filled with more than $2,000 worth of commercial-grade fireworks and roughly 35 gallons of gasoline, which investigators say the attacker used to enhance the explosion. The attacker was a naturalized U.S. citizen. Authorities say a week prior to the attack, members of his family in Lebanon, including two brothers, were killed in an Israeli airstrike in the war with Iran. The Israeli military said one of his brothers was a Hezbollah commander.
A review of his online activity since January 2026 revealed a reoccurring search history of pro-Hezbollah news channels, Iranian news channels, and videos about shootouts and bullets.
I'm Reed Binion reporting.
Astronauts will blast off to the moon for the first time in more than half a century after the Apollo missions, with the launch of Artemis 2 set for April 1st. The 32-story rocket will carry 4 astronauts into the final frontier, where they will orbit around the Earth before their Orion capsule transports them to the moon and back. NASA hasn't sent a team to the moon since Apollo 17 back in 1972. The excitement building up ahead of the Artemis 2 launch is especially being felt by John Tribe, a propulsion engineer on the Apollo missions. Tribe is thrilled to see the knowledge he and his colleagues helped gather now being advanced. While Artemis 2 won't land on the moon, experts say this mission will lay the groundwork for future trips to the moon's surface, with the Artemis program aiming to set up an outpost there to help propel later trips to Mars. And as a new generation looks to the stars, those who helped humanity reach them can't help but smile. Kevin Uretsky, Fox News.
DHS says most TSA workers have been fully paid for the last 2 pay periods, and long, frustrating airport lines are easing. But that relief may be taking pressure off lawmakers, with no deal yet on DHS funding. Congress left for Easter recess without an agreement after talks collapsed over immigration.
In my opinion, on the Republican side, we shouldn't have gone home. They're bad that they keep using people as chess pieces.
Republicans have spent the last several days pointing fingers at each other. GOP senators pushed a plan to fund most of DHS, but House Republicans rejected it. Speaker Mike Johnson says he's ready to bring lawmakers back if a deal emerges.
I can call the House members back for a vote as soon as we get something worked out with the Senate.
Democrats are holding firm, demanding changes to ICE.
We don't have to get everything, but after what happened in Minneapolis, there's a strong feeling that we need to reform the way we do.
Tom Homan was saying that a lot of those...
And the impact goes beyond airports. Thousands of workers at FEMA, the Coast Guard, and federal cybersecurity are still without pay. Officials warn with global tensions rising, this is no time for a funding stalemate.
I'm concerned about the shutdown. I'm concerned about funding. This is the time to be vigilant here. We've got a war happening overseas. Tensions are running high.
President Trump says he'll host lawmakers for an Easter dinner if they come back to the nation's capital and strike a deal. In Washington, Mallory Rivera, Fox News.
Actor and filmmaker Tyler Perry recently handed out $1,000 gift cards at Atlanta's Hartsfield-Jackson Airport in an effort to provide financial assistance to TSA workers who have been working without pay for several weeks amid an ongoing partial government shutdown. But now those workers are being asked to give them back. Meanwhile, here in North Alabama, Huntsville International Airport has launched its own gift card drive to support local TSA agents. So what are the rules? Can TSA workers accept gifts? We verify. TSA workers had been on the job for nearly 6 weeks without pay during the partial government shutdown. So when Tyler Perry showed up at Hartsfield-Jackson Atlanta International Airport this weekend with $1,000 gift cards wanting to help, workers were grateful. But now those same workers are being told to return those gift cards. So can TSA workers accept gifts? Let's verify. Our sources are the TSA's official gift acceptance policy and the Legal Information Institute. Here's what we found. When it comes to gifts, federal employees operate under tight restrictions. There are actually 2 separate sets of rules at play here, one covering what individual TSA employees can personally accept, and another covering what TSA can accept as an agency. Let's start with individual employees. Federal ethics rules place strict limits on what TSA officers can accept. For starters, they can't ask for gifts, and in most cases, they can't accept them either. On top of that, whatever they receive cannot be worth more than $20 from anyone on any single occasion. And over an entire calendar year, that same person cannot give that employee more than $50 worth of gifts total. And there's one rule with no exceptions. Cash is never allowed, no matter how small the amount is. The same goes for prepaid cards or anything considered a cash equivalent. But according to the federal ethics rules, store-specific gift cards like a gas station or grocery store are not considered cash equivalents. Since those cards can't be converted into cash, they're treated differently. And if the value stays at or under $20, an employee may accept one. Now let's talk about the second set of rules, gifts to TSA as an agency. According to TSA, any organized effort to donate to TSA employees must clear several hurdles before a single item changes hands. Every offer must be reviewed by the agency's Office of Chief Counsel. It must be put in writing, and that paperwork must be completed before the gift is ever distributed. So where does Tyler Perry's situation fit in? Sources say his team worked through management, human resources, and legal channels before heading to Hartsfield-Jackson with gift cards. But the airport's federal security director later raised concerns, and workers were told over the weekend to return them. The exact reason for that decision has not been confirmed. Closer to home, Huntsville International Airport has been running a community donation drive for local TSA workers that appears to follow these rules. The airport is only accepting store-specific gift cards worth $20 or less for gas, groceries, or restaurants only. Cash and general use prepaid cards are not accepted. and all donations are collected and distributed through TSA leadership at the airport. So we can verify that, yes, TSA workers can accept some gifts, but only when donations go through official agency channels and follow strict federal guidelines. If you have something you want us to verify, text us at 256-382-2692.
The commute is getting rougher for most as the gas prices continue their upward climb.
You got to fill up now because, tomorrow's going to be more expensive.
Right now I'm spending $150
for one fill up?
For one fill up, which will last me 2.5 days. It's
unfortunate that we have, that the American people have to suffer for conflicts abroad.
The Brent crude price of oil closed at $115 a barrel, sending gas prices spiking locally, with AAA reporting gas prices averaging $5.93 a gallon in San Diego. Prices across town were far higher as the war in Iran continues without a clear end in sight. Electric vehicle sales were on the decline, but with the uncertainty in the fuel markets, car dealers are seeing a new spike in electric interest.
We're seeing a huge climb in plug-in hybrids and hybrids in general, and then also EVs.
With a month of gas costing more than a car payment, sales experts say drivers are simply doing the math.
Mainly on people that already have SUVs where their leases are coming up, they're now considering EV plug-ins and hybrids just to get the extra mileage.
And for people who want to cut out the energy middleman, Ross says the closed power loop of sun to house and house to car is becoming far more typical.
A lot of people are getting solar right now, and then they're getting the EV, and then their solar is just basically giving them free gas.
But the most important question for Ross? Do you have an EV?
I have an EV. Escondido and back for kids' sporting events is 50 miles round trip for me, and essentially it's free. That pays for my car payment there every month, just going to Escondido and back.
So will we see a run on EVs? Late this evening, we did see oil prices start to drop just a little bit, and then we did get news that Iran is claiming responsibility for striking a Kuwaiti oil tanker. Who knows what that will look like in the morning in terms of the oil market. That's the very latest. From Kearney Mesa, I'm Jamie Chambers. Back to you in the studio.
AAA says the national average for gasoline has topped $4 a gallon, about $1 more than before the Iran conflict. It's the first time gas prices have been this high since 2022, following Russia's invasion of Ukraine.
You got to fill up now because, tomorrow's going to be more expensive.
Right now I'm spending $150
for one fill up.
For one fill up.
Bank of America says spending volumes on credit and debit cards has slowed since the Iran conflict started. It's seeing a sharp drop in purchasing momentum for things like hotel stays, entertainment, and dining out. Unilever merging its food business with McCormick. It's spinning off its food division, which includes Hellmann's mayonnaise, and merging it with a spice business. CVS Health is getting ready to expand, adding 60 new locations this year. The company says new drugstores will include standalone locations. Some will be in Target stores, and some will be pharmacy-only sites. And Amazon has a deal to provide faster Wi-Fi access on Delta Airlines flights starting in 2 years. It plans to use Amazon's LEO satellite internet business. CJ Papa, Fox News.
After a significantly severe tick season last year, experts are bracing for another year of this growing threat as familiar trends are being tracked.
We expect this season to be likely worse than last year, or definitely not much better.
Nicole Baumgarth with Johns Hopkins Bloomberg School of Public Health says last May there was a 30% rise over the previous year in emergency room visits for tick-borne illnesses. She says it's due to a warming climate and expanding tick population. To protect against ticks, Baumgarth says to use bug spray and wear permethrin-treated clothing that covers your skin.
You want to have long-sleeved, long pants, be a little doggy and put your trousers into your socks, wear a hat.
After being outdoors, Baumgarth says to do body checks and take a hot shower. She says ticks that haven't attached can easily wash off. And if you do find one on your body, carefully remove it. And she says to place it in a plastic bag in the refrigerator in case you start to develop tick-borne illness symptoms 3 to 30 days after a tick bite. That can include fever, chills, headache, fatigue, muscle and joint aches, and swollen lymph nodes. With Lyme disease, there may also be a rash like this that looks like a target or bullseye. She says Lyme disease transmission from the tick takes about 2 days after it attaches itself.
So you have some time, and that's why it's not recommended to go and see the doctor immediately after you found the tick, particularly if you just came in from a hike or something.
For Health Minute, I'm Mandy Gaither.
The Tomb Raider series has hit a snag. Amazon MGM says star Sophie Turner has suffered a minor injury on set, prompting a pause in production. The studio has not given specifics on the injury or when filming might resume. It released this photo of Turner as Lara Croft when production began in January. The series is due out sometime in 2027. Laura Dern is attached to star in what would be the first scripted series about the Jeffrey Epstein case. Sony Television is putting together the project based on a book by Miami Herald journalist Julie K. Brown. Dern would play Brown, whose years-long investigation identified dozens of alleged victims and led to Epstein's arrest.
Can't believe we're staying at the Psycho Killer B&B.
You don't have to go anywhere to see Scream 7. The latest chapter in the iconic horror franchise arrives on digital platforms to buy or rent Tuesday, with more than 40 minutes of deleted scenes and other killer bonus content. In Hollywood, I'm David Daniel. The Super Mario Galaxy movie kicks things off on April 1st as our heroes head to outer space for a new adventure.
Am I sensing some nerves? Remember, you know each other really well.
A pre-wedding revelation shakes things up for Zendaya and Robert Pattinson in The Drama, opening April 3rd.
Oh!
Buongiorno. Gabriella wants to give you a tour of the vineyard.
Why?
Aren't you getting married there?
Oh.
Halle Bailey and Regé-Jean Page star in the mistaken identity rom-com You, Me, and Tuscany on April 10th.
She's been missing for 8 years. What was our daughter doing in a 3,000-year-old sarcophagus?
April 17th brings horror as a family reunion turns into a nightmare in Lee Cronin's The Mummy, and action as Bob Odenkirk is a sheriff trying to clean up a crooked small town in Normal.
There's something inside of you. Let's cast her out. Together.
The psychological drama Mother Mary, starring Anne Hathaway as a pop star and Michaela Cohen as a fashion designer, opens in limited release on the 17th and wide on the 24th.
I believe music can change the world.
The big late April movie is Michael. Jafar Jackson, Michael's nephew, plays the king of pop in the highly anticipated biopic arriving April 24th. Getting my popcorn in Hollywood, I'm David Daniel.
Magic.
Frantic airline passengers pleaded for pilots to turn around after fire was seen sputtering from a plane's engines just moments after takeoff. The Delta flight had just departed Sao Paulo, Brazil, when one of the engines burst into flames, showering sparks onto the runway below and starting a fire as the plane continued to ascend. Shortly thereafter, the pilots did turn the plane around, returning it and its passengers safely to the ground. Fire crews could then be seen tackling the flames, which, according to Delta, resulted from a mechanical issue with the plane's left engine. Newly released video from Missouri shows the heroic actions of a police officer who earlier this month pulled a man from a burning car after his vehicle rolled over during a crash. The dramatic moments where the officer sprang into action helped the man escape the potentially deadly scenario with only minor injuries. And in a serendipitous twist, KMOV reports the song playing in the officer's patrol car at the time of the rescue included the lyrics, "Save me." Whew. Everybody good and tense? Well, have no fear, Super JJ is here, and this 4-year-old caped crusader was able to save the day thanks to the Make-A-Wish Foundation and a collective community effort. WCVB reports Jackson JJ Weiss of Marblehead is being treated for an aggressive form of brain cancer, and through his journey, his family has called him their superhero. So they called Make-A-Wish, pooled their resources, and made JJ a real superhero for a day.
Marblehead is a little safer, a lot brighter, all because of Super JJ.
For Take a Look at This, I'm Jeremy Roth.
Routine healthcare at the doctor's office looks different now, as UC San Diego Health takes their care on the road.
When you're meeting people where they're at, physically, in their language, in their culture, they're going to have a better healthcare experience.
UCSD Health soft launched their 2 mobile healthcare clinics in August 2025.
This is where the magic happens. This is our mobile clinic.
UCSD med students like Daniel Masillon and Mo Oni have worked in the clinic since its launch, screening patients for diabetes and cardiovascular disease.
Have our blood pressure machines over here to be able to check patients' blood pressures.
Oni says those kinds of diseases especially impact underserved communities that lack access to health care.
Really trying to do work in East County and southeastern San Diego because those are the areas where there is the greatest need.
UCSD Health received more than $1.1 million from federal appropriations for the program to bridge the gap for people struggling to receive health care.
Between North County, San Diego, and let's say National City or Lemon Grove, there is I think it's a 12-year difference in life expectancy.
The other mobile clinic offers mammograms and breast health education to patients for free, already making a difference for local Native American women.
Patients would normally have to drive 45 minutes or more to get their screening.
Cancer survivor and Native American Anna Knight says she received her regular breast cancer screening at the mobile clinic, noting breast cancer remains the leading cancer for Native women.
Having these mobile mammogram units going out to our reservations to provide early detection for our Native women is really important.
Knight says of approximately 25 women who were screened at a recent event on a Native reservation, 4 patients were referred for additional care.
One, it brings people to the table that we historically weren't talking to or necessarily seeing at the table.
And UCSD Health hopes to continue expanding the program to help those who need it most.
It's just important because a healthy community is a thriving community.
Dominique Lavigny, Fox 5 News.
Fox 54 Plus has your news, sports, and weather. Start your evening with Fox 54 at 5:30, delivering the latest headlines and live reports straight from the scene. Then, stay informed with Fox 54 News at 9, featuring your Tennessee Valley certified most accurate weather impact team, tracking everything from tornado threats to traffic delays during severe weather. Fox 54 Sports Extra brings you more of what sports fans crave, with deeper insights, expert analysis, and all the action that matters most. On Fox 54 Plus, you'll also find Alabama politics, Plus, 24/7 weather radar and real-time forecasts to keep you ahead of the storm. Looking for a quick recap? Don't miss Fox 54 Week in Review, highlighting the biggest stories of the week. Jumpstart your morning with Morning Rush. Fast-paced news updates, featured with uplifting stories from across the globe. Get your entertainment fix with Getting Real, where we break down movie reviews, top 10 lists, and spotlight the newest film. Die Hard fan? Locked On Sports dives deep into the Crimson Tide, the Tigers, college rivalries, and pro action. True crime warrior style? Killer Cases brings you gripping real-life stories that stick with you. Hungry for more? Cooking with Style serves up mouth-watering recipes that are easy to make and impossible to resist. From movie previews before you head to the theater with Take a Look to must-know headlines from across the region and around the world with In the News. Watch all of these shows on demand and also on the Fox 54 News app. Available on Android and iOS devices. Streaming 24/7.
There's more to Fox 54 Plus with the Locked On Podcast Network. From the Tide to the Tigers, from college teams to pro, the Locked On Podcast Network gives you insights and analysis you just can't find anywhere else.
These kids, they want to play.
But I don't think so. I think it was Chad Baker Mazzara.
Locked On Sports, streaming every day of the week and right here on Fox 54 Plus.